Hey, Natsu here. Um, Today I'm going to do part 2 of my What If Deku had the powers of Venom. Before starting, I want to say that for a small amount of time, I'm just going to start 3 new What Ifs and do those one as well as this one and my Angel Girl Deku because, well, I still have my notes and stuff like that for the other what ifs, but I'm going to take a small pause for them. Well, a break, basically. Um, the ones I'm going to continue from those that I have already started are Omega Stone Deku, Angel Girl Deku, Venom Deku, and I'm going to do 3 new ones. For a small amount of times, I might just do those 6 for now. The 3 new ones are a what if Deku. Well, look, I'm going to say them at the end of the video, but basically, there's 3 new ones that I'm going to do, and then take a pause from other what ifs for a while. But yeah, so where we left off in the last one, Venom, well, Deku, I mean, which he has the surname Parasite from Bakugo simply because he can literally bond with anyone. And if he wants to, he can take complete control of the body without the host being able to do anything about it. So, yeah, his hero name will be Parasite. It doesn't sound nice, but it's basically what he is. Kind of. So, they went for UA. The day previous to UA entrance exam, they fought at the max strength that they have, and Bakugo's explosion are 10 times stronger than what Deku can do. So now if he bonds with someone, he basically gives them the exact same explosion power as Bakugo, which the explosions are about 15 times stronger than at the start of the anime. Well, no, at the U entrance exam. 15 times is huge. Mostly for his explosions. Um, Deku's strength, like natural strength, speed, and stuff like that, is impossible to basically be matched by Bakugo, because literally, if Deku wants to, he can lift a truck with a hand, like fully lift it without problem. Speed, he can literally run next to a car and probably even go faster than that. Um, he resists temperatures, so fire and ice won't harm him compared to normal symbiotes. So Todoroki is kind of at a disadvantage against him, as well as being able to make wings, make it so that when he bonds with someone, the host doesn't die underwater, and stuff like that, basically. So, When they go to the entrance exam, Deku doesn't trip. They get for the written part, Deku got 100 easily, since he does kind of keeps um, the intelligence of people he bonds with as well as their memory. So just bond with someone who knows about everything that he needs to know. Like he did bond with two heroes, so he has their intelligence. Um, that makes him pretty good at stuff like that. So in the assembly, the same thing happens with Ida, except that he doesn't talk about Deku since he doesn't mumble. Sorry about that. Um, so Deku cannot bond with machines. It's just something I wanted to put out there. It's not like the um, galvanic mechamorph from Ben 10. A symbiote is a being that can bond with organic matter, like they can mix with plants. The problem is that since a plant cannot normally move, they don't do it. They can bond with Groot since he is a little tree that can move. So with him, it's possible to do it correctly. And basically stuff like that. But yeah, machines aren't possible for him. So um, they go to the cities. Deku looks around, sees everyone, sees Ida, basically the guy that talked back at Prison Mike. He sees his engine in his legs and just thinks, whoa, he must be fast with those. And continues looking around. He sees some people that are nervous and stuff like that. And then Prison Mike starts counting. And when he says go, Izuku starts running. He's faster than most people. Ida is still in front of him. And both of them start destroying robots, just like everyone else behind them. Izuku extends his arm to hit stuff. Um, when he gets hit, he basically uses Fat Gum's quirk to store the energy. He uses explosions, which basically doesn't harm him anymore, but destroys the robot really easily since his explosions are like 2 or 3 times stronger than what Bakugo used in the entrance in the ball throw. So he's pretty powerful with those. Not 3 times stronger, 1.5 times stronger, I mean. Um, but yeah, so basically, with all of the strength he has and all of his quirks, he basically destroys a lot of robots easily. Um, I think Mina was in another city, so he doesn't see her. But at some point, let's say Ida kind of ran out of steam, was hit by a robot, and was about to be hurt. Deku saw it, came up to him, and said, "Sorry, protecting you," and basically bonded with him and protected Bakugo from it. Not Bakugo, but Ida. Ida was a bit scared about that, like, well, surprised. But then Izuku basically made his body move and basically break the robot, giving it a kick, and came out of it. He then lended a hand to Ida to get back up and said sorry about that. You were going to get hurt, which Ida did, thanks him for protecting him, and he saw that every small injuries he had were healed, and basically asked him what the hell his quirk was, because he showed all of those powers and all of those quirks and blah blah blah. And Deku basically said that um, his quirk allows him to, well, basically makes it so that his body is kind of like a half solid, half liquid substance that he can change shape as much as he wants, and no matter how much damage he gets, he just kind of heals back. He can bond with people and heal them, as well as increase their power, um, and give those people, for the time they're bonded, um, the use of the quirks of the previous host that he had. When Ida hears that, he asks the quirks of previous host, which Deku then just says, I'm going to explain it later. For now, there's still time. Which Ida's like, yeah, true. And they both go their separate ways. All the way up until right before the um, zero pointer arrives. The hero saw what Deku did. They didn't hear him. All Might remembered the kid and was like, so he is really strong and he is ready to help people a lot. He could have been a great candidate to be the next bearer of One for All, but someone already has it now, Mina. So when Nezu unleashed the zero pointer, basically the same thing with Ochako happens. Izuku sees her and basically just makes the engine on his legs, which Ida sees him do that and is like, wait, he copied my quirk, and then in his head just kind of clicks. He takes the DNA and quirks of previous hosts and keeps them in his body. Oh, that's what he meant. And then he just sees Deku running as fast as he can with those. Basically, compared to Ida, who needs orange juice to fuel it, Izuku just basically fuels it um, differently. I don't know how he would, but basically he doesn't need orange juice. His body kind of just does it by itself. Just like for Spider-Man, who has webbing, in every different iteration of Spider-Man where he doesn't have natural webs, the Venom takes that in consideration, basically sees what he's using normally, and adapts its body to be able to create that. And basically that's what Deku's body did, and just kind of, okay, he needs something to do to use it, but we're going to replace that and just fuel it naturally. So, but Deku can do that. Basically, he arrives next to Ochako, takes off the rubble, sees the zero pointer, and tells her sorry, and bonds with her as well. Just because she's saying that she can run, and Deku does want to destroy the robot. Problem is that if he does it while she's there, she might get hurt. He bonds with her, which Ida sees from outside this time, how it works, and he basically just seems to transform into some kind of liquid and molds around the person and change them. After doing that, Izuku basically asks her, do we run or do we fight? Which she decides to say we run, and he does it. Since for Ida, yeah, it kind of was needed because the robot was still on them, but the zero pointer was just coming towards them, wasn't really attacking. So they basically just ran, and she felt her injury heal, well, her leg heal. When the timer stopped, basically he um, stopped bonding with her. That made two saves, so a lot of points. He destroyed multiple robots, and he also healed Ida and Ochaku. So when Recovery Girl came to heal Ochaku, she basically saw that she was perfectly fine, and Izuku said, yeah, that's thanks to me, I can heal people when I bond with them, and blah blah blah. So after that, they kind of left the place, and Ida and Ochaku asked him directly, how does it work? And he explained them that every time he bonds with someone, he gets a part of their DNA inside of his DNA, which allows him to get to um, access their memories, intelligence, power, strength, and everything basically. Which both of them are like, wait, you have all of our memories? Which he says, don't worry, I'm not using it to do that normally. The intelligence does get added automatically, but that's only because I want to know as much as possible. Sorry about that, but don't worry for the memories. Unless someone accepts for me to go in them, I don't do that. I don't do that. Which they kind of get a bit or leaves, since Ida was sure that some people would know about him and his family because of his engines, but he still kind of hid it for a while, if I remember correctly. While Ochaku just kind of, well, she's a girl, he's a boy, you get the point. Ochaku then asked, why didn't you just mix with the robot, bond with the robot then to make it go away? Which Deku then said, I can only attach myself to things that are alive and organic matter. A machine isn't that. I could have entered it uh, by turning my body uh, into goo and kind of going around and destroying stuff inside, but that's pretty much the closest thing I can do to bonding with a machine. So they leave. After a while, everyone gets their letter. Um, Izuku is asked to actually go meet Nezu on the first day, so to arrive about an hour earlier to talk with the principal. So when he arrived, um, there was an old man next to Nezu when Izuku entered. Izuku only thought, okay, it's probably a professor or something like that. So he sat down and asked why he was asked to come, which Nezu asked, um, your quirk, it's called symbiote, right? What does it do fully? Like, he wants a complete explanation because a symbiote is a true word, and basically what it means is well, two things that are together basically, that works together, or something like that. I don't remember, but I know it's a real world word, and that's where their um, venom and his species are called symbiotes. So Izuku basically explains what his capacities are from that quirk, and then explains um, that when he bonds with someone, he also takes a part of their DNA and get their quirk and powers, as well as while being on them, no matter the damage they get, he heals them. Like, let's say someone gets his arm ripped off. I've used with him. If I am able to grab the arm back, or if the arm gets blown off, if I'm able to grab every piece of it, I can reattach and recreate it completely and heal them. So All Might basically took off his shirt, showed the injury, and asked if he could try to help him. Which All Might still has one for all, but it's only the remnants. So I'm not going to say that he's getting it from that point. He does get the other, because there is a theory that the reason All Might was able to use 100 from the start is because, just like multiple people that are deemed quirkless, he had a quirk that just couldn't activate unless special conditions were met. And his quirk is actually that the muscle he makes around his body is actually being made thanks to energy being kind of placed all around his body, like kinetic energy or just force and itself. And so that's why One for All basically made his body go buff. And that's also why he's able to continue doing it even after losing it. He basically get that quirk, and not One for All. Because yes, he tries to heal All Might. And I'm going to say that he is able to start healing him, but both of them kind of feels as if it was slow. And Izuku said the damage is really deep. I think it's going to take multiple um, times to actually heal it completely. Which All Might basically, without telling him who he is, on well, both of them on bonds from together, and All Might tells him, "Thank you, young one, young Midoriya. At least you tried it." Which Izuku said, "Oh, don't worry about it. I can. eh, If every morning we do it at least once, I think in about 2 or 3 weeks you should be okay and fully healed. Or we could bond for an entire day while I do it during that time, and it could also help." Which All Might decide to tell him who he is, and that, well, first he decides to tell him that every morning would be fine. He already feels a lot better than what he was feeling before. Um, but that if he does have time, he can do it. Then Izuku asks for his name to know in which class he's going to be, and All Might looks at Nezu and he decides that, you know what? You're helping me. This is a secret, so please don't tell it to anyone. But I know you. We've already met, in fact." And then he buffs up to his All Might form and tells Izuku that he's going to be a teacher at UA, but that it needs to be kept a secret, his true appearance. Someone else in class already knows about it, but she already knows that it's a secret and she won't say it to anyone, which Deku accepts, like, okay, yeah, good, perfectly fine with that. If I'm helping All Might, that's perfect. And so, Izuku leaves to go in class, and basically, since he arrived an hour earlier, he's basically the first one in, and he just sits down at the place he had in the anime and just waits. Everyone gets in class, blah blah blah. Bakugo not having his jerk personality doesn't put his feet on the chairs, on the desk, so Ida doesn't bother him. He goes straight for Deku and start talking with him. Um, Mina was told about Izuku and Bakugo while she was training with All Might. Basically, he said that two people seem to be good candidates, but he forgot to ask their name, and he doesn't even know where they live or stuff like that, so he couldn't actually go back to talk to them and then explain how they looked. And when she entered, she saw both of them, and she was like, "Those are the two candidates that All Might was talking about. Whoa, they're in UA. They really must be powerful." And basically just kind of go sit down. Later Ochako enters the class, then later Aizawa, and the same thing basically happens with him entering, saying that it took 8 seconds, then for all of them to meet him in the yard and to go place their sports uniform, which Deku basically sees a clothing once and he basically just replicated it on his body. So basically he never actually bought clothes for a while. He was always just copying them. So he basically just switched his clothes and just said, "Well, I'm going with you now." And everyone was like, "Wait, he just what?" With Bakugo just leaving to go to the locker room, which everyone basically did afterward. Um, Izuku basically just followed Aizawa, which Aizawa told him that it was a nice trick, um, but that normally he would prefer if he actually used clothes. Which Deku said that he hasn't worn real clothes for a good amount of times. The moment he learned he could do that, he basically was always doing that. Whenever since he can basically turn it to any color he wants, to a certain extent. Because let's say Deku is able to literally switch it to white, green, red, blue, anything he wants. But he's not able to switch his skin, just able to switch if he's making clothes. Just because, yeah. Well, Aizawa decides to try something and tries to block his quirk to see what would happen, and nothing happens. He decides to keep an eye on him because he saw him use quirks of other people, which I'm going to say he cannot stop Deku from bonding with someone and increasing their strength, but he can stop Deku from using quirk that he copied. Since if someone has naturally an increased strength because of his quirk, Aizawa will be able to nullify that. But something like, let's say, Koda and uh, Shoji, I think. Shoji is the guy with multiple arms, if I remember correctly. Aizawa cannot nullify his quirk, since it's basically always there. He is able to stop some mutation quirks, like Ojiro, which has the tail. If Aizawa stop his quirk, he isn't able to move his tail. But Shoji is still able to move all of his arm, multiply them, and you get the point. So Deku's basically, except for quirk that are not affected by Aizawa's quirk, all of the quirk that he copied, if Aizawa stops him, those quirks don't work. So Aizawa was trying to test it, but he was asking himself why it wasn't working. He just thought, okay, yeah, it's a mutation, but it should still stop him. Which, yes and no, so no, I'm going to set. So when everyone gets out, he explains what they're going to do. He throws the ball to Deku and asks him to throw the ball as far as he can using his quirks. And Aizawa decides to stop him from using quirks for his first throw. Deku prepares to launch it by using explosions, strength enhancements quirk, as well as his natural strength that is humongous. Since without the quirk, he can basically already lift the truck easily. So when Aizawa stops it, and that Izuku throws it, no explosion, no increased strength, and blah blah blah. But he still throws it a good around 500 meters, and all he thinks is, well, that's weird. Which Aizawa is still massively surprised. Aizawa throws him another ball and tells him, throw again. Which he asks why, and Aizawa tells him, I wanted to see how your quirk was working, so I erased it. Which Izuku says, oh, that's why. I was supposed to put an explosion in that. Which Aizawa didn't know, he just thought, okay, so that's what surprised you? Which Bakugo just said, well, I was sure he was going to use one, that's why I was surprised about the score. Because, well, he just said because I was surprised about the score for that reason. Then he looked at Deku and said, why didn't you use your full strength as well? Even without any other quirk, you should have been able to launch it for about a kilometer. Which Aizawa just looks at Bakugo and then at Deku and asks, wait, is he saying the truth? Which Deku says, yeah, well, I tried using the explosion, so I thought my strength in itself wouldn't work that much on it afterward. Which Aizawa decided to tell him, use the max of your capacity. This is a competition. And then places the restriction of the last one get expulsed. Well, gets thrown out of school. Which makes everyone basically, oh shit. Which then Izuku throws it at the truce and asks Aizawa if he can bond with someone to throw it. Because his max strengths actually come out in that moment. He asks who he wants to bond with since it is his quirk that acts like that, and he just said Bakugo. Aizawa looks at Bakugo and said, you don't use your quirk while he's throwing it, which Bakugo said even if I didn't want to use it, when he bonds with someone, his quirks he has about 10% of what I can use when it comes to explosions, and when he bonds with someone, the quirks that he has in him gets 10 times stronger. So he's actually going to use the exact same power of explosion as he can with me, as I can do. So Aizawa just says, just do it, since it's his quirk. And the ball basically goes for about 5 kilometers away, which is in the middle of the city. Which basically what happened is someone just got a freaking ball, um, destroying a car, which Aizawa was surprised by the strength they put in it, and just said, okay, I'm going to say that this is the max of your strength, which Izuku said, yeah, pretty much. Then ask him how much his strength increased when he bonds with someone, which Izuku said that they mix both strength together and then increase it by an unknown amount. Which Aizawa looked at him and said, unknown amount? Why didn't you test it? Which he says, well, it depends on the person. If the person I'm bonding with and me have a good, not connection, but compatibility, the boost is bigger than if the two people aren't that much compatible. So with Bakugo, we are compatible, but we know that. But I did bond with another person that actually had a better compatibility with me. So I know that some people are better than others. It's not from the amount of time we bonded together. It's more of a literal compatibility and personality, I think. So Aizawa just decides that okay, that's extremely powerful. This kid is going to be a great hero if he learns how to use it perfectly, which he kind of does already. He just doesn't know the extent of how much he can become powerful. Since a symbiote and Deku has literally all of their abilities, cannot die from old age, actually. They're literally impossible to kill over time. They only get stronger over time because basically they bond with more people, and every time they bond with someone else, they become stronger, and then the next person becomes stronger again, and again, and again, and again, and again. And the comics where we actually saw that was a one off, where in the end, um, I don't know what their name were, but basically um, a group of beings that were created artificially. So robots, machines, and other things like that were destroying everything in the universe. And Venom, having bonded with practically every hero and villain on Earth, basically used the capacity, well, the time capacity of some heroes and villains to go through every stage of history all the way to the start of the universe, bonded with every being in existence, every from microbe to all the way to the biggest being alive, even like the gods of the Marvel universe. And then recreated a second universe where everything in history was identical except that the beings that were destroying the universe weren't in there. So he can copy a lot of things. He can literally bond with anything and keep it inside of him. So there is a lot that Deku can do. I don't remember the name of the comic, but it's a good one. I think it was something like Infinite Venom or something like that. But yeah, so everyone except Bakugo and Deku and Mina got their normal score. Mina got a higher score. Deku, anything that he was in was basically like demolished. And he was first place except for the Baltro, which Uraraka got that, and the speed test, which that was Ida. Wait, no. He did bond with Ida. He still has his normal strength, and as well, the two are put together. Even though it's only 10%, it does make him faster than Ida. So yeah, he got actually first place in that one as well. Every time Kaminari was using his quirk, Izuku was scared, like, because even unconsciously, he knows that it can harm him, as well as he knows that it can kill him. So yeah, basically at the end, Izuku is first place, Bakugo second, and Mina third. Well, no, Mina fourth. Since Shoto was kind of a lot stronger than most. And I'm going to end it here with nobody getting expelled. And in the next part, the hero versus villain with All Might. So hope you liked it. Um, and yeah, so like I said at the start of the what if, I'm going to only start doing 6 different series, 3 new ones, and 3 that are Venom Deku, my Angel Girl Deku, and another one that I said that right now I can't remember for some reason. But yeah. Oh yeah, my Omega Stone Deku. So basically, those 3 plus 3 new ones. Don't ask me for the others for a while. I think for the next month I'm only going to do those ones. While I do, I continue the scripts for the other ones. So yeah, hope you liked it. Sorry if I stopped for a while on a what if you like. Um, but yeah, for a while I'm going to stop some of them. I'm going to continue them later, like for my Immortal Deku, um, Dragon Slayer Deku, and my Saiyan Deku. Those 3 I need more My Hero Academia to come out, so I'll need to wait for season 5. Really sorry about that. The other what ifs, it's more that I'm basically trying to place my notes, um, well, my notes and my scripts correctly, because right now, yes, they're all in different notebooks, but they're still kind of mixed in together. Like, I have a notebook that has that one, then another part of another one, then going back to the next part of the first one in the book, and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to arrange, and sometimes for some reason some of them are mixed. So I'm going to redo all of them. So it's going to be kind of hard for a while to do those. So yeah, Natsu out.